4.3. 566, let me try that again. 560 students will be evenly divided between 42 buses. How many students will ride on each bus? Okay, so here we're given our total number of students, 560 students. Will be evenly divided, so that means you want equal groups between 42 buses. So we have those 42 groups. How many students will ride on each bus? Okay, this is a fun one, so pay very close attention. So I want to know how many students are going to be riding on each bus. What do I have to do to solve this problem? That's right, I have to divide because I'm missing a variable over here. So again, I'm dividing by 42. That'll cancel out this 42 and just leave me with n, looking for the number of buses, or excuse me, the number of students per bus. So I'm going to divide 560 by 42. 42 goes into 56 one time. Subtract. 14 is less than 42. Bring down my 0. 4 goes into 14. Oh, about 3 times. We'll see if that works. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. I subtract and I still have 14. So I have a remainder of 14. Okay, so that means that in these 42 buses, I can fit 13 students in each bus, no problem. And that will take care of all but 14 of my students, okay? So 13 students in each of my 42 buses, but now I have, trying to think of how to explain the next part. Okay, so there's 13 students in each of my 42 buses, but now I have 14 leftover students still standing there waiting to get onto a bus. So what do I need to do? Well, I want to divide this out as evenly as I can. So I'm going to take each, so I'm going to put one student on one of those extra students on one bus. So I'm going to take one of those 14 students and put them on a bus. Take another one of those 14 students, put them on another bus. Take another one of those 14 students, put them on a different bus. So that means I'm going to have one extra student for on a bus for each of those 14 students. So that means 14 of my buses, instead of having 13 students per bus, will have 14 students per bus. Okay? I know this might be a little hard to catch on to. This one's the tricky one. Okay? So that means 14 of my students I'm gonna divide them up and put each one of those extra students onto one bus. So that means since there's 14 students, 14 buses, erase this, 14 buses will have 14 students. Because I took each one of my leftovers and I added it to the 13 students that were already on the bus. So this bus had 13, but I took one of my leftovers and added them in. So there's now 14. And I did that to 14 buses until each one of my leftovers was taken care of. So 14 buses have 14 students. So I had 42 buses to start with. 14 of them have 14 students on them. So I have 28 buses left. Those 28 buses that are left have my 13 students. Okay? So 14 buses have the extras, have the leftovers. 28 buses just have 13 students. Okay? Let me show you how this works. 28 times 13. 4 carried by 2, 8, 0, 8, 2, 4, 16, okay. So 28 times 13, that would be, erase this part, 364 of your total students. 14 times 14, 196 students. So these 14 buses have 196 of your students. These 28 buses have 364. You add those two together and you get your 560, which matches your total, okay? If you feel like you don't understand this, it's okay. Try your practice and let's see how it goes, okay? All right. Did you do your practice? If not, pause your video now and do it. Okay, last call. All right, letter A. 40 kids stood patiently in each line. There were 35 lines of kids. How many kids were standing patiently in all the lines? So 40 kids in each line, number in each group. 35 lines of kids, number of groups. How many kids were standing patiently in the lines? 1,400, because you should have multiplied those together. Okay, did you get that one? Good. Letter B, 40 kids could crawl into one space. If there were 1,600 kids, how many spaces would it take to hold them all? So 40 kids is the number in each group. 1,600 kids is the total. I want to know the number of groups, so the number of spaces. So I divide 1,600 by 40, and you get 40. Very good. And the last one, letter C. There were 148 kids that had to be crowded evenly into 8 spaces. How many kids could be in each space? Let's talk through this one together, okay? So there were 148 kids, that's your total, that had to be crowded evenly into 8 spaces. How many kids could be crowded into each space? So that means I'm going to divide 148 by 8 to try to figure out how many kids. When I divide, I get 18 with a remainder of 4. So that means you're going to start out putting 18 kids in each space. So here are my 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Can you see them all? There are my 8 spaces. So I'm going to start out putting 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18. So I have 18 kids in each space. But now I have 4 kids left over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are my 4 leftovers. So I want to fit them each into a space as well. So I'm going to take this kid right here, and I'm going to put him in this space, 19. Then I'm going to take this kid right here, and I'm going to put him into this space. So now I have 19 over there. Now I'm going to take this kid, and I'll put him into this space. So I have 19 there. Now I'm going to take this kid, I'll put him into this space. So I have 19 there. So now all of my kids have been put into a space, and it's been divided as evenly as possible. So 4 of my spaces have 19. 4 spaces with 19 kids. And 4 more of my spaces with 18 kids. Okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that practice helped you a little bit more. If not, let me know. I want you to try it in your homework, okay? And if you're not able to get it, if you don't understand it, please let me know and I will help you and I'll talk you through it. I'll make you another video, whatever you need, okay? All right, love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.